Hello everyone. We're from which group are we?
Group 11.
We're from Group 11. We have this interesting case that we want to discuss with you guys. We'll be discussing with each other, but we want to share a discussion to you guys.
As well.
Yeah. So, what's the case, Warham?
So we can actually tell you the case or the company name or the whistleblower name.
Mhm.
So the case involved is about greenwashing. So we have actually discussed greenwashing in the class, and also one of the question mentioned in the midterm exam.
Right.
And fortunately, our case is about greenwashing. So let me explain the introduction first. So ESG investing has grown tremendously in recent years as more seek to align their capital with environmental and social values. However, some questions have arisen regarding whether companies' sustainability claims accurately reflect reality.
That's a problem, right?
Yeah.
That's like one of the problems that's mentioned in the exam, right?
This concept of potentially exaggerated or misleading non-financial disclosure is known as greenwashing. At its core, greenwashing undermines transparency and integrity in ESG investing. And with that in mind, transparency and accuracy are imperative according to established accounting ethics principles of integrity, objectivity, and then many others. We'll discuss it in the video later. And the central to upholding such principle in the potential role of whistleblowers, individuals who seek out internally or through regulators about issue of public concern like falsified impact data, or while the aim to remedy real issues, their actions are sometimes criticized and require careful analysis of evidence and process followed. This discussion in the case, we will consider documented internal evidence about the whistleblower perspective and procedures, and then the potential breaches of the accounting principles, and the overall market and investor implication. And our goal is to mention the key issues through application of the frameworks just outlined. And with the stage now set, I will be passing the next discussion or the next section to Vinno.
Right. Okay. So we'll be discussing the body of the case. Can you say that? So for this discussion, we'll just say that the company is in the banking industry.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll just refer to the bank. So the bank itself is a really large investment management firm that has permanently marketed itself as a leader in sustainable and ESG focused investing. For reference, ESG means environmental, social, and governance, right? All right. So this bank, in 2021, one of its senior executives did a whistleblower, right? It began raising internal concerns about inconsistencies between the bank public statement of the ESG integration and the reality of its investment processes and product offerings. Specifically, the whistleblower said that the bank greatly exaggerated the extent to which environmental, social, and governance factors were systematically analyzed across its asset selection and stewardship activities. For example, the whistleblower claimed that the sustainable research was only conducted on a small minority of total holdings. The whistleblower also highlighted that the concerns about vague and inconsistent definitions of ESG terminology between the bank's marketing materials and actual investment guidelines. This lack of rigor and standardization, the whistleblower argued, made it difficult for clients to meaningfully compare and assess the bank's ESG approach versus the competitors. And most seriously, the whistleblower believed that the bank promotional language around leading the industry in sustainable investing and impactful engagements was misleading, given the more limited role that the non-financial criteria appeared to play behind the scenes. Well, at this point, those are the key allegations that the whistleblower brought to light regarding to the bank's communication about its ESG integration processes and product framework. And in the next segment, we'll examine the evidence that Warham compiled. That the whistleblower compiled,
Yeah.
and Warham also, to substantiate these serious concerns. Well, I guess back to Warham.
So actually, we found this case on the website called Wall Street Journal. So
It's pretty weird, right?
yeah, thank you. So to evaluate the allegations, I'm going to explain and examine some internal material the whistleblower compiled during their employment at company, the bank. So one key document was a pipeline report outlining the ESG ratings that the company assigned to the issuers across its portfolio. And according to the whistleblower, this showed that less than 25% of holding had undergone full sustainability assessment. And now, one could argue ratings were still in progress. However, the whistleblower also provided asset manager reports focused heavily on traditional financial factors, like profitability rather than ESG criteria when recommending securities. What's more, there are emails. The whistleblower preserved showed the company executives privately expressed surprise at the gaps between their public persona and internal realities.
Very interesting.
Taken together, these contemporaneous records suggest the whistleblower suspicion were unfounded, and the low ratings coverage and financial analysis emphasis in documents contradicted public narratives of comprehensive, integrity-driven ESG processes. It's also worth noting that the whistleblower role afforded access to the company official system because they was the company official executive, if I'm not mistaken. So the data shouldn't be dismissed as just one disgruntled individual claim. Rather, it provides a window into the company genuine ESG integration maturity at the time. Of course, as we'll discuss, the company contested some interpretation later, but the documentation circulated by the whistleblower present a prima facie case that merits consideration in our examination of the situation. And now I'm going to pass to Vinno to summarize the potential implication if such inconsistency proves substantial.
Alright, so I can clearly conclude that ESG is a very important thing, especially in nowadays, right? Nowadays, every company needs to be concerned about their ESG rating. But as you can see from this case that me and Warham just explained a bit, the bank shows like some kind of this weird, there's this weird agenda that's not supposed to happen. If you get what I mean. There's a lot of inconsistencies throughout this case, right? And I think the whistleblower did a good job. Whistleblowing is technically not a respected act, right? Because
It's like a two-edged sword.
Yes, it's a two-edged sword because if you're just saying bad things about your company while you're working there, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword, right?
Before we continue, I want to ask Vinno about something.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So we've provided the allegation and evidence so far.
Mm-hmm.
So if company or the bank sustainability claims were indeed overstated,
Mm-hmm.
there could be a significant investor and market-related consequences to consider for the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And for investor, losses of trust and reputation could be traded assets under management over time.
Right.
Is that true?
That's true. So I think the misstated or overstated in this case, sustainability claims could erode credibility. In a way, it's a major risk for financial institutions. However, one could argue that the impacts may have been limited if ratings were just works in progress. But more context is needed before definitive harm is done, right?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Another potential issue raised is what this precedent could mean for ESG investing legitimacy
Mm-hmm.
if left unaddressed. Sorry. So the investor may lose confidence in non-financial labels, just like Vinno said,
Mm-hmm.
across the industry.
Right. I can also see the perspective, right? Greenwashing accusations, if substantiate, undoubtedly undermine integrity, right? Because greenwashing is basically saying
They
that,
involve integrity.
Yep.
This case, mostly.
basically greenwashing is just saying you're doing something without doing it, right?
Yeah.
Or at least overstating it something, right? So, however, again, one case shouldn't necessarily indict the whole sector so quickly, right?
Yeah.
Regulators aim to maintain high standards too, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. You make fair counter-argument, but the integrity is a paramount, but broader impacts may depend on response and unique factors.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps this case highlights needs for clearer role definition and impact demonstration industry-wide to more bolster the approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think overall, it's a complex issue with reasonable view on both sides.
Right.
And the transparency will be the key moving forward, whether outcomes arise to ensure trust in this important case.
Right. Although, I'm curious. What about the regulators? What would the regulators say about the bank, since they make sure the rules are followed?
Good point. But I think the whistleblower reported issue to Watchdog to have them look it more.
Yeah.
So the whistleblower involved more in this case.
Right. More people.
Yeah. They probably checked the evidence and talked to the people at the bank. So the watchdogs, what means by watchdog is actually the one that. So this company, this bank was actually fined by someone. I can say that because we're going to tell the whole name of the confidentiality.
Right.
Okay. So do you agree with that?
Yeah. They probably checked the evidence, right? Talk to the people in the company, in the bank too, right?
Yeah.
What if the regulators would they be mad if the claims were found to be true? What kind of things would they do though? Like when they find out, oh, the claims were actually right?
Yeah.
What would they do?
So in regards with the regulators, so the regulators care that companies are honest. So if the bank didn't tell the whole truth, they might get in trouble.
Right.
And the regulators could also ask them to say sorry for or pay a fine, which they already did.
Right.
And the most serious things get reported publicly so others know not to copy bad behavior.
Right. Imagine you have a company, right, Warham, and then your company is reporting it publicly for bad behavior. What would you feel, right?
No, imagine someone in your company in the high position in the top management level reporting your company because the company do a greenwashing. I mean, the whistleblower is from the company itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess right. I mean, transparency is really important, right? Especially in the company.
That's the point. Transparency is important.
Definitely important. And yeah, I also agree about the public apology point because I think it helps rebuild trust with the people that with people around the company, right? The stakeholders, the customers, the investors, and the workers also. But regulator also wants a fair chance to learn lessons. Wants them to learn lessons and do better in the future, not just punish, right? So they're responsible to set an example.
Good point. And we can say that as long as regulators make sure the real facts come out, whatever they decide can help make sure green investing stays on the right track. Honesty and learning is what's best for everyone in the end. That's the point.
I agree. And fairness and improvement is really what matters, right? Thanks for explaining how the regulators works, how institutions like this, right?
And now we're going to analyze it more further into the about the whistleblower.
Yes, the whistleblower. So what did the whistleblower say, right?
Yeah.
So the whistleblower shared a lot of tricky details, right? I'm wondering how would you think that they handled coming forward? Moving in front and telling the higher ups about this misconduct, right? How do you think they handled coming forward, right?
So the whistleblower, they first talked to company about the bosses trying to fix internally. So when that didn't work, they went to regulators to have grown-ups look into it. So the whistleblower tell the higher ups of the company, but that didn't work. And then they move on. The whistleblower move on to report it to the more higher up, which involved another party, the regulators. Yeah. And then finally telling the news was probably hard, but might have helped more fast to increase the length of time to process this case. Right. Yeah, they don't, but they didn't report to the company first, but now we can see this topic in almost all website or in the internet. We can find it easily.
Yeah.
But we won't tell it in this.
It's secret. It's secret. Right. So, I mean, I respect the whistleblower, right? I mean, they didn't just do it for fame, right?
Yeah.
They did it.
They didn't report immediately to the news.
They did it slowly, right? Step by step. They first talked about it internally with the company, right?
Yeah.
And then when the company didn't budge, right? They moved to the regulators.
Yeah.
And then I mean, that's a good idea, right? That's how you're supposed to do whistleblower in a way, right?
Proper channel.
But I think going public bring more eyes for sure, right?
Yep.
So, well, I think some folk might say though, but they should have kept it secret.
I mean, I can see both sides actually. If keeping it hidden means no drama, but the problem stays too.
Right.
Speaking up, even publicly, helps ensure someone addresses it properly though. As long as they share truthfully to help, not hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
You make a good point, and the documents itself wasn't just claims, right?
Yeah.
So, again, the whistleblowing is serious, so care with the truth is good, right? Overall, it seems they try to handle it gradually going up at first anyway, right?
Yep. So, if the rushing straight to news maybe not the best first step, but coming forward all takes bravery when facing a big company. I think they did what they felt right to try and make things right. I mean, the whistleblower did the right thing. They used the proper evidence, they used the proper motivation, and then they used the proper channel to report.
Right.
Yeah. So the conclusion is helping others is what matters most in the end. So the whistleblower is correct.
Good analysis. Helping others what matters at the end, right?
Yeah.
While if you're in the company, it would mean that your company is going down in the stock market, right?
Yeah.
Because it would affect the image of the company.
This case actually makes me wonder.
What about it?
What rules about reporting honestly could company C have broken? So we'll discuss this. We'll discuss about more accounting principle. So can you explain it?
Alright, the question about accountants, as you know, we are accountants. We are future accountants.
Yep.
We have standards for integrity and honesty, being neutral, and responsible, and we need to be responsible also. If what they said, in this case the bank, is different from the real work, and that's not straight.
Yeah. Like if reports focus on money more than helping earth bits, like the document showed, that wouldn't be fully responsible. And saying they did more green reviews than actual work isn't neutral facts. Is that right?
Right. Facts and manuals have to match, and clients trust the true story, and not just marketing, right?
Yeah.
If the bank didn't check carefully, like they said, folks would rely on wrong things. There was people and the
Planet
too, right?
Whole organization. Yeah. With that being said, the rules are there to keep trust, just like laws outside. And if evidence shows companies C stretch the truth instead of full honesty, maybe standards were too loose inside. So regulators gotta check that.
So you're saying that the rules inside of the bank is kind of loose, right? So bad internal controls, no indication of bad internal control.
Bad internal control.
Okay, so I mean, good accountants means following ethics seriously when agreeing jobs for other businesses. Being responsible with truth is important for everyone's well-being, right?
No, we're done with the integrity problem. But Do you think is there any accounting principle that this company breaches, or?
I think there's a few, right? First being lack of objectivity.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that they're greatly exaggerating their sustainable efforts.
Yeah.
It shows that the bank was not objective
Mm-hmm.
and did not maintain an impartial and unbiased stance in communications.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't provide a balanced and accurate representation of capabilities in the Hallmark principle.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that the Hallmark principle is breached. Right?
Yeah. The objectivity is
Yeah.
also breached.
Second one, I think it's the insufficient of due diligence.
Yeah.
As the whistleblower suggests, the bank did not apply professional care,
Mm-hmm.
skepticism, and critical assessment in verifying impact claims, as their processes were flawed.
Mm-hmm.
And the principles of competency and exercising due professional care may have been contravened.
Is there anything else?
Last one, I think there are three, right? Last one, the misuse of confidential information.
Confidential information. Okay.
Right. Using whistleblower internal records, which acknowledge a significantly lower ESG rate, bank mishandled private data for marketing gain.
Uh-huh.
And maintaining confidential is a set of sensitive facts is a core component of ethics, right?
Yeah.
It was potentially violated by the bank.
Okay, so we concluded this, that there are four main issues that the company breaches. So the first one is the integrity, second one is the objectivity, and third one is the due diligence or professional competence.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Vinno said, the last one is we concluded as the confidential information.
Right.
I think you're smart, Finn.
Thanks. You too. Thanks for
I mean, discussing this make tough topic a lot of easier.
It is fun actually.
Thank you. That's a very fun topic to talk.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so we're moving on to the conclusion and overall analysis.
We're gonna conclude this. Hope you guys have been listening though.
Yeah. So, based on the evidence shared so far, what can you conclude, Finn?
Okay, so based on the evidence, it does seem that the whistleblower had legitimate worries about inconsistencies between the bank's words and actions regarding the ESG integration. The documentation provided a concerning snapshot of the whole situation, right?
Yeah, I agree. And while we don't have the full picture, if through the bank and behavior could be seen as prioritizing profit over principle, not fully living up to standard of integrity and then objectivity and anything else we mentioned earlier in reporting, we can actually conclude that this case is kind of wrong.
Exactly, and if the ratings were still a work in progress, communication should have matched reality, right?
Yeah.
This case showed sustainable claims must be backed by robust processes to maintain credibility and trust in ESG as an impactful approach.
Yeah, well said. So the transparency is so important, especially when it comes to topics tied to our future. And I'm glad regulators aim to investigate properly and they also find the bank. And hope we all learn critical lessons here. Yep.
Right. Great point. Lessons matter most. Thanks for the thoughtful decision, Warham.
Yeah, thank you too, Vinno. So, in concluding, joint respectful analysis of complex issue, seeking truth over sides seems so important. Working together is how we'll continue progress.
Right.
And to conclude, just to simply, briefly, more conclude this case. I think, we can see that the action did by the whistleblower is correct, and I think the greenwashing that the company did is wrong. So that's the simple way to conclude it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they paid a fine also.
Yeah, they already. Although this case was not actually finished yet, so the whistleblower is still to be proven right or wrong. It's still on a lawsuit for the company, but the regulators already fined the company.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, it's around $25 million.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I mean, it's a bag though. It's a big bag.
It's a bag.
But it's a lot.
Okay. So I think that's all for our discussion. So if you guys One, do have any questions or anything else?
Just leave it in the comment below.
Just leave it in the comment below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And please give this video a like,
Yeah.
helps ours.
I know it's a little bit boring because this is a case where it's a difficult case, but because we discuss it together, we hope that we can deliver it to you guys more clearly, and
I hope to learn something from this.
yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye bye.